What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Ian Book, quarterback out of Notre Dame. So, the first thing I'm going to say is people are definitely going to say that he's too small to play the quarterback position in the NFL. I don't care about that as much. He's 6 foot, about 206. I don't think it's too short. Kyler Murray's tearing shit up right now. Russell Wilson's shorter than that, and he's tearing shit up. Drew Brees is 6 foot. He's tearing shit up. We got to stop with this height shit. All that means is he's got to drop back a couple yards further. That's the only thing that means. And if he's in shotgun, it doesn't matter at all. People think that just because you're not 6'6" means you're not going to be a good quarterback. Let me tell you, how many tall-ass quarterbacks don't work out in the league? I don't want to go on that rant. But, anyway. Let's get into what Ian Book can bring to the table. First of all, he is very good at extending plays. That's one of his best features. Being able to move and extend plays with his legs is definitely a big thing. I wouldn't necessarily say that as far as moving into the league, I wouldn't say he has elite athleticism. I would say it's more on par with like a Baker Mayfield. He can run for some first downs for you. He can extend some plays. But is he going to murder you running with the football? No, he's not. Not in the NFL. In college, he kind of does. But in the NFL, no. Everybody's fast in the NFL. I'll get into that in a minute. If your team does draft him and he ends up in a situation where he's starting, I don't think he's ready right now. He is a senior, but I think he needs some development. But he is a rhythm passer. Get him some easy completions quickly, because once you get him in rhythm, he will start to look like a really good quarterback. But sometimes getting him going can be an issue. Arm strength isn't terrible, but it's not great. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. I'm going over some of the positives first. That's about it, actually. So, let's get into his decision-making, right? He plays a lot of hero ball, and he has a tendency to, when he gets stuck, he just likes to run, and I do not like that. I don't like it when Lamar Jackson does it, but Lamar Jackson is, even in the NFL, he's not just fast for a quarterback. 9 times out of 10, he's the fastest player on the field. That's not the case with Ian Book. I don't want him running the ball that much in the NFL because he just doesn't have that type of athleticism. He just doesn't. And even Lamar Jackson struggles sometimes because everybody in the league is fast. And he has a bad habit of trying to... Ian Book, now. He has a bad habit of trying to play hero ball. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll know what that means. He just tries to do a little bit too much, and it can really put your team into bad situations. Now, I've talked about this before, too. In certain situations, it's understandable. If you're in like a fourth quarter, do-or-die situation, hero ball can make sense. I'm not mad at you then. You're just getting desperate. You're trying to win. But there are times where he's up like 28-3 in the third quarter, and he's still playing hero ball. Trying to do too much. Throwing it into double coverage. Running to his left. Throwing across his body. Don't do that shit. You don't need to do that. I can't stand that. But, he also doesn't seem to really have a feel for blitzes too much. He does it sometimes and he can escape a little bit. But, like, especially pre-snap, he doesn't seem to know where the blitzes are going to be coming from. He just kind of uses his legs to run away from the blitz. And I mentioned hero ball, and this is where his arm strength really becomes a problem. His arm strength isn't terrible, but it's not great. And if you're going to be a gunslinger, play hero ball, you have to have good arm strength in the league. And he just doesn't have that. Doesn't support the gunslinger mentality. Like, Brett Favre is the biggest gunslinger ever. But he also has one of the best arms ever. So it kind of bounced out a little bit. The idea of no matter what the situation is, my arm is better than the defense doesn't work when your arm isn't that great. It's just not. His decision-making really does need to improve. And his accuracy is really inconsistent, too. He is better when he sets his feet and really hones down his mechanics. Looks a little bit better. But he just... It's still not consistent then, either. But the big thing is he just does not handle pressure that well. That's the big thing for him. Is he just tries to do too much. He a lot of times puts his eyes down and just tries to run. He just doesn't have the athleticism to get away with that in the league. I think a lot of the physical limitations are really going to hurt him in the league, especially with his style of play. Now, maybe a coach sees the athleticism, sees his ability to escape, sees something in him, and says, I can fix that guy, and drafts him and develops him. But otherwise, I think he's going to have a pretty rough time in the NFL. He might be a decent backup, but beyond that, he's to me, he's a good college quarterback, but as an NFL prospect, But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, I appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.